Market update here on the 17th. So we did not hit that invalidation level of 332.25. I'm really been focused on QQQ lately because tech has been dominating, and the reason that the market has basically stayed afloat for such a long time. I will go over SPY here in a bit, but most of my focus has been on QQQ. I've been trading it. I'm also holding Apple, so I want to make sure that I have the count right. Still, I have the diagonal in red here, and then I have the other count, which is WXY. And I'm kind of just going with the flow on this last wave right here. Or it could be the last wave. It could be the start of the Y wave as well. So I'm kind of watching it to see what happens. Here we have 5 waves. That's a diagonal as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a diagonal because the 4th wave comes back into the 1st. So you consider that A or 1, and then a pullback here for 2 or B. 5-wave move for the end of the W wave or a 3rd wave here. It's longer than the 1st wave. Then we get this move back here. That's either X or 4. And then if this is a 5th wave, I would probably look at it like this is the end of the 3rd wave right here. And then we get a 4th wave right here. And then we get this another diagonal. So this would be an ending diagonal right here, where we get 1, 2. And then actually I said that the move might be finished, but I think that this might just be the 3rd wave. So if we go like this, you'll see that we went outside of that parallel line right there. I have so many lines right now. I want to keep that one. So we go outside this parallel line today. We did not get above this. So if I zoom in here farther, we have 1, 2, 1, 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, pullback 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this, there might be more. If there's more, then that's gonna change. That's gonna change this. I'll have to change that if it goes higher, because so far we have 1, 2, and I have to zoom in here farther. Let's see. So we have 1, 2. I'm sure this is the 5th wave. It's just where is this ending at? So we have 1, 2, and then we have again 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's just see. So that means that this has to be the 4th wave right here. And then we get 1, 2. I don't know if the parallel lines are going to work on this one. Doesn't look like it. So the 1.61 fib is right here. I would assume that this is finished. 3rd wave's finished. We're on the 1-minute time frame though, so it gets kind of choppy. But we came outside for the whole move. I was just trying to make sure it's finished. This has got to be the end of the 3rd right here. So Yeah, it's got to be the end of the third right here, I think. So then, and this is, you can just follow me along if you want. I mean, you can do this on your own as well and figure out your own count. But you can see we come outside the fourth wave right here. And I think there's a good chance we might get another move higher, actually. It looks like the fourth wave ended right here. And so that means we are probably looking at 1, 2, 3, 4. Potentially one more move higher. That would invalidate my account though if it goes above 332.25. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, but according to this, unless this is the end of the third wave right here. So it's getting kind of dicey on this lower time frame, but we've basically topped out. But again, zooming back out here, that should be about 5 waves, whether we go a little bit higher or not. And then that would be the overall third wave. So I know I have a million different numbers here, but this is how I count, and that's the third wave right there. So we have 1, 2, 3, and I'm sure it's the third wave though, because I can use parallel lines on these higher time frames, and we came outside of it. So my count, if it's not right on this, then that means it still went outside the parallel line, so it should be fine. Although the 1.61 fib of this first wave is not till about where I was talking about, 332.25. So yeah, it's a kind of a mess right now on smaller time frames. Let's see what happens tomorrow. But if that is a top today or a little bit tomorrow, a little bit higher tomorrow, I'm looking for a pullback to 327 maybe. This was a decently, I think this came back to the 0.61 fib, a little bit past it. So I would look for maybe, because it didn't go to the 1.61 fib, maybe it will come back farther, come back here to 323 to 326. So I would look for something, once this tops out, something of a pullback to this area, and I'm looking for it to end probably sometime in early June. So I'm basically looking for it to be like this. And then as far as the target goes in the upside, if it's a 5-wave move, then I would be looking for about 340. If this ends up just being the W wave, and this is WX, and this is the first wave higher, it could go much higher. It could go all the way up to 357. So we could see, I would say the max is 357, but we could also be topping out sometime in, let's see, how long did this take? Could be topping out sometime in June, but I wouldn't be surprised if we let's see here, 310, 332, if we go to 357, yeah, we might pull back to like 310. So we could go all the way up here to 340, pull back to 310, and then go to 357. So either this is going to be wave 5 right here, So that's wave 5. Or I think that is probably just wave A. A or W, whatever you want to call it. So if that is only wave A, it would look like this. So the whole thing would be W, X, Y. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if that's the case, I would be looking for a pullback all the way back down here to a minimum of 293, but probably even like 284. So basically, I think this third wave is very close to finishing. And if it invalidates my from the video earlier, then it's not that big of a deal because that count has been being done on the 5-minute, the 3-minute, 1-minute time frame, and so it gets kind of dicey. We just know the third wave is pretty much finished, and I think that this is some kind of like diagonal where it could come back in here to the first wave, and we're probably not ready to start selling off yet. We're probably going to do a slight sell-off and then probably go higher. Either count. So probably get a sell-off into the debt ceiling stuff, maybe going into early June, and then pump higher after it's finished. So that was kind of a long explanation, but either WXY or a 5-wave move. Microsoft, it looks like it's going higher here, but I would imagine it's going to pull back here and then probably get one more move higher in tandem with QQQ. Apple has been the one I've been following the most, and I'm thinking that this one's kind of tricky. I think that it might be, I think we might be going to 182 now. So I think this might be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 like that. The thing that got me tripped up is I thought this was a third wave of the overall, third wave of the overall 5th wave, but I think it makes more sense for it to be looked at like this. So 1, 2, and then within that we have a nested move. Because this move right here is almost always going to be a third wave. Huge move higher, and it's a third wave of a third wave. So it's almost always going to be a powerful move. And so this makes the most sense. We're in a 4th wave. The only thing is that would mean that QQQ is going to go higher from here because Apple is probably going to go up here to like 176 to 177. If it does that tomorrow, I'm going to be selling it. And then either that or selling covered calls. And then it'll probably fall back and then go up here to 182. On the log chart, you can see it's different than the arithmetic, but you can see 182 is the target. So we have WX, and then this right here is, I have it as WX, and then this has the Y wave, but because it didn't look like 5 waves to me, but you could count it as 5 waves, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically, Apple, I would look for 177 to 182, but I'm thinking 182 makes more sense now, especially considering that if QQQ pulls back and goes to 340, Apple is going to have to go up probably another 5 or 6%, I would say. So there's Apple, QQQ. SPY looks like it should come down from here. It kind of looks like a head and shoulders pattern to me, but so we have this up here, comes down, we got the head right here, the right shoulder, and then come down, but I honestly think it could go either way. We could also be looking at this as a wave 2. Wave 2 right here, starting wave 3, so something like that. And I've talked about this for a while because it chopped for a month. But if it goes up here, it's probably going to hit 420 to 424. And then again, just like QQQ, that would be the top. So 340 is pretty good target for this based on the fact that the third wave is $54 long. And this one is 41. We've already passed that though. That was 226 or 326. 54 plus 285 is 339. So that's kind of where I got my target from. Usually two waves are the same. So 54 and 54. So 339 is pretty much my target. We'll see if wave 3 ends right here. The rest of them, the rest of the tech stocks, I'm not really following that much. I'm following Tesla. Nvidia, I just stopped following that. It's just up every day. And my count, like the count is just kind of stupid at this point. It's just, I'll look at it for 1 second, but every day is down and then it pumps up even higher. My recent count though, I did have this as a fourth wave, so we'll see what happens with Nvidia. Tesla is pumping back up here. I think that it could be going up here to fill the gap. We never actually filled the gap here. And if it goes higher and breaks above this, it's a possibility that that's a 5-wave move and this was actually the bottom. But if we pull back in QQQ, then maybe it will start the move down. We can look at this. So if it breaks above this, then I would consider it a 5-wave move. You got the wave 1 right here. Breaks the 1.61 fib, pulls back, and then if it breaks the high here, then it's either going to be wave 5 or it could be wave B. But again, I'm looking for an impulsive move down to complete this down here at 146, and we're not getting that right now. So there's always a possibility that we bottom and they don't go down and fill the gap. They might hold this off until this tops out at 340. So if that happens, we might even get a more dramatic move down because QQQ would probably correct to at least 310. So those are my thoughts going forward. Basically, if you just look at the parallel lines, we're outside of those. There might be a little bit more to go in the third wave here, but not much. And then I'm expecting a fourth wave pullback to 323 to 326. And that will probably be going into the debt ceiling stuff in early June, and then another move higher to 340-ish. And then we'll find out if that's the overall top of the fifth wave, or is this the overall top of the W wave pullback. I don't really care which way because this is already corrected enough for it to be a fourth wave down here at 254. It corrected more than SPY. So if it's a 5-wave move, we'll get a pretty big second wave correction. And this way would mean we're probably going to have more downside. We're probably going to break the lows. So hopefully everybody got an idea where we're at in the chart. Let me know in the comments what you think. And hopefully you're starting to make your own counts and figure it out because this is very helpful. Knowing where you're at in the chart, even if you're not 100% accurate, just knowing where you're at in the chart kind of, even if you're not perfect, allows you to sell puts really well. It helps you get better entries for shares. Options, you got to be pretty precise, but the other two, you really need to use something like this, along with supply and demand. So that's pretty much it for today. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates. I'll do another update tomorrow. We'll see how high this tops out at. Anyway, have a good night.